I played the wrong intro. We're live anyway. So, hi everyone, welcome back to Casual Watch Reviews, Sunday Social. Yeah, I've clicked the wrong intro, so rather than us sat in silence for a 10-second countdown, we might as well get going with the show. This is the kind of high quality production value that we're always striving for. Well, I'm joined by my panel today. I'm joined by Todd from TikTok Talk. I'm joined by Dave from Scottish Watches, and I'm joined by Mark from On Liberty 1859 on the Instagrams. So welcome everyone. Mark, you're sat in the hot seat. Do you want to kick us off with a wristwatch check?
Yeah, sure. So since we've just had Formula One testing and the first race is next week, I thought I would bring my Stratton Sportiva to the party with its Golf color scheme. And Golf is now on the Williams, so makes it a good Formula One weekend.
Oh, is it? I thought the Golf. I don't know F1, but I thought the Golf color scheme had been retired a long time ago.
It was on McLaren,
right?
For the last couple of years, and now it's not on McLaren. It's much smaller and on the Williams. So we don't know if they'll do a McLaren livery car at some point in the season.
Yeah, awesome.
And I've probably been a Williams fan, I think, longer than you've been alive. So.
I don't know. I'm older than I look. I don't think you might. Well, possibly.
78, 79.
Yes, that's about right. Yeah. Anyway, Dave, what are you wearing?
I have a Konstantin Chaikin Joker Titanium.
Oh,
very
wow.
nice.
Very cool.
Wow, I've only ever seen pictures of it. I've never. Well, I mean, I'm only seeing pictures now, but I never knew anyone that had one.
Yeah, there's not that many. So it's 88. They made 88 of them.
Oh wow, awesome.
Yeah, so.
And then Todd, what are you wearing?
I am doing the Nomos in 38 in the, what do they call this? The dark, or it's the black.
Club Campus Nacht.
Yeah, that's the one. But it's the one with the, you can pay actually extra to get the clear case back on the club campus. So
cool.
It's a fun little piece.
That
I think that's the first time.
Very close to a selection of mine for tonight.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a great watch, really. I mean, I had this moment where I wasn't in love with it and I tried to trade it for a second, and then I wasn't happy with the trade. And the guy sent it back to me. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to reconnect with this watch, and I do love it. It's a nice watch.
Very nice.
Absolutely.
And I'll add Todd in. Todd, thanks for joining us, Seiko Todd.
Good to be here. Thank you very much.
You're right in time for the wristwatch check. Have you got one handy? Oh.
I do. This one should look familiar. This is my version of Sam's watch. This is my first one. 1978, 6000, but this is a 6005, not a 6002. So it's very similar. There's slightly dial variation. So,
Awesome. Excellent. Yeah, well, I mean, to follow that, I am also wearing a Seiko Speed Timer. I'm just working on a review. Well, it's sort of a review, but I'm just working on a video. So there should be up this week a video on this new to me Speed Timer. Anyway, I'm doing 7 reasons why Seiko will never make a watch like this again, or as good as this again. It's a little bit clickbaity, but you got to get the views.
a little bit.
Little tiny bit clickbaity. Well, this week we're going to have a bit of fun. We're going to pick watches that we think are the best in the 500 or less, 2,000 or less, and 10,000 or less categories. But everybody, keep your picks coming. Thanks for everyone that has started to pick as well. So we'll pick from the viewers as well as we go through this. But do
you want to clarify if we're going for new price or pre-owned? Because it makes a big difference, I guess, for the guys in the comments.
Yes. Sorry, Mark, you are right. Yeah, we've decided to go for new watches, and we've the prices are kind of fluid. So if you can find it online new for a price, like I've got one from Sakura Watches and a few others. We're not necessarily RRP, but they are new rather than pre-owned. Yes. Yeah. Is that okay? Anyway. Seamless. Okay, well, let's kick this off then, and let's start off with Dave. Do you want to kick us off with yours? Let me pull up this one.
So we're starting at the bottom. We're starting at the $500 or $500.
Yeah, we're going to do 500 first. I'm messing up the rules here. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, I based mine on UK sterling, but on the basis that it's worthless at the moment and it's a bit equal with dollars, then horses for courses and all that. So first one I've gone for is this is a pretty tough category because to me there's like so many like Seikos out there and everything that definitely fall into this category that are amazing watches, but I always like to try and find something a bit quirky in this price point. So I've gone with Pollen. Now, I'm Scottish, as if the accent doesn't give it away. So Pollen is a Scottish brand. They are the baby brand of Anor Dain, who are the kind of enamel dial specialists. And this, I think, is amazing value. So on the face of it, it's nothing super special. It's a kind of basic little Seiko movement in there, so nothing super fancy by any stretch of the imagination. But it's a custom stainless steel case in terms of custom designed. The guys at Pollen Anor Dain designed it, had it made for them. It's got cool little features with likes of the Hesalite crystal on there as well, which is just kind of little nod to vintage watches. But the dials are aluminium, and the dials are made just down the road from Glasgow in Kilmarnock. They're cut out from aluminium billet. Then they're sent to like a little artist who works in the south side of Glasgow, and she hand finishes them and then anodizes them. And then they're sent to Anor Dain, who use their pad printer to custom pad print onto the dial, which is a kind of a font and everything that they've designed themselves. They make the hands themselves, they're all custom, and they get the Anor Dain watchmakers to put them together. And it's the grand sum of £395, which I think
That's
is an
amazing.
absolute bargain. You can get whatever strap you want with it. You can have suede strap, leather strap, you can have a mesh bracelet, you can choose whatever you want. They do 3 colors. They do this one you're showing, which is the kind of most neutral, the silver and black print one. They do one in a kind of orange, which I think is the middle one. Yep, the Neo B, which is the kind of affectionately known as the Iron Brew, which is a kind of soft soda drink in Glasgow. It's got this kind of rusty orange colour. And then you've got the Neo C, which is the kind of brightest in this kind of light blue with various colours on it as well. It's got the kind of pink and red on there. Also for £395, you can choose whether you want a solid case back or a display case back. So you get your choice for no charge. They are unbelievably popular. They're always out of stock, so you need to just basically wait to get one. And I know, like, even my little brother's kid, she's not into watches at all. She doesn't know about watches. She knows I like watches, but she randomly sent me a picture of this after she saw one somewhere and said, "This is cool. Where can I get one of these?" So it's got younger kids into watches as well. I think
Excellent.
it's 38 mil, so it's bang on the sweet spot for so many folk as well. So this, I think, is one of the best value sub £500 watches because it's different and it's not mass produced and it's actually pretty cool little bespoke watch for the money.
Yeah, it does look
It is
cool.
cool.
I like, I'm a big sucker for the date window, and it looks like they've used a completely different font than like a standard.
Well, I'll tell you the story. So this adds more value to it. So they buy the stock Seiko movements in. They then dismount all the date discs, completely acid etch them to take all of the finishing off them. They recoat them and then they custom print them with their own font.
Wow.
Yeah.
What
That's
are they doing at that price point? Unbelievable.
That's a
doing
real
it right.
bargain.
Yeah.
That's
And
doing
it's
it
like-
right. Yeah.
Put together in Glasgow. Most of the work. Yep, the case is, I think, from Asia for sure in terms of manufacture, but of course it is. Even the straps, though, the leather and the suede straps are all made just outside Edinburgh. So they've got a little. It's a lady that works in leather crafts and stuff, and she makes all of the straps for Anor Dain, and she does them for these as well. So aside from the case being physically made in the Far East and it being a Seiko movement, it's a British made watch for £400. Can't knock it.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, and just a distinctive design as well. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay. Well, next up, let's go. Mark, we'll go to yours. Your next one. So this is your Citizen.
Oh, I like that watch.
So
Watch.
I think we can blame Jody for me diving down the Japanese domestic market rabbit hole. He did a review of the Citizen Chronomaster, and that got me diving into Sakura watches. And one of the things that popped up was this beautiful diver. It looks to me like a modification of the Citizen ProMaster for Macy's that they did 3 or 4 years ago. It also has Breitling vibes now as well.
For
sure. But for a sub $500 watch with a date, and I'm not quite sure whether that's a stick-on Cyclops or an engraved Cyclops, but for a clean, simple, reliable Japanese watch, why don't they bring these into wider markets? Come on, Japan, you can do it.
Yeah,
it's just lovely.
Well, and it's a Traveler GMT too with the independent hour hand, right? Like that one's For that price, it's unbelievable.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a really good pick, and Citizen makes some awesome watches as well. Their quality control is obviously a lot better than perhaps their rival, but anyway.
Well, the bezels anyway.
Yes. Nick, do you know the only I loved all the Citizens I ever owned, but I had one that had a sunburst grey dial, and the problem is it kept looking like in certain lights like there was a thumbprint on the glass. It was really weird because it had like a rainbow hue it added to the thing, and I kept thinking it was had a thumbprint on the crystal.
There's a Japanese on market red dial one that I really want too, with the similar collection, but not a GMT. It's just a proper diver.
Yeah,
and it is such a cool watch, and you don't see it anywhere.
Yeah, this Sakura watch is actually this isn't sponsored, but I've bought from them. I bought the speed timer off them, and yeah, it was good service. Yeah. Okay.
And it's always good to see more Citizen. And I know Seiko Todd's on the line, but we see a lot. We see a lot of Seikos and we see a lot of Casios. And I've always had a soft spot for Citizen, so I like to bring them up when I can.
Yep, good choice.
Yeah, one of the best performing videos I've got on the channel is 7 reasons why the Citizen ProMaster is better than the Seiko SKX. I'll leave everyone to watch that if you haven't seen it.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, Seiko. I accidentally flashed it up there, but Todd, I kind of stole your thunder there. Sorry, but this is your.
So I had a lot. No, that's mine.
I think, is it? Yeah.
Sorry, Todd did. Yeah. Todd with an extra D. Sorry, Todd V.
Yep. So I approach this whole exercise as the 3 watches I have together are going to be a collection. So I kind of I was checking boxes at the same time. And I wanted a diver, and I started at a higher end, but I thought what I love about this King Seiko, which, we know we get about Seikos, but you're getting a lot of the specs that you're going to get from a more expensive diver when you get the ceramic bezel, you get the sapphire glass. Their rubber straps on these are supple. They're really well done. And so, at that price point, when you can get it on Amazon, I know that's not, like we talked about, anywhere close to the RRP, but now that these have been out for a little bit, I mean, you can get a really good buy on an excellent watch that's, going to last a lifetime, and it looks great.
Yeah, because these were they closer to 700 when they were released? I remember them being.
They were expensive, but I mean, you're just getting a whole lot of watch for, what is that, $380? It's incredible.
Yeah, and you're getting the not only the king turtle, but the king of all Cyclopses on there as well, aren't you?
The candy bar, which I had reservations about, but now that I have one, I kind of have fallen in love with it. It doesn't bother me at all.
I don't mind mine on the Rolex. But,
oh yeah.
Okay, well, Todd, to clear up the confusion, Todd, I'll go to yours next. Yours was actually I didn't have I missed your I'll search for it. Which was your sub 500?
It was a quartz glycine Airman.
Oh, okay. So I did have the right one. It's just I picked the wrong. I did have the glycine, but I picked the wrong one. So we'll do this. We'll do this live then. So I couldn't. There's so many of them. I couldn't work out which was the quartz
It
one.
doesn't. Well, okay. So to say it doesn't matter which color you picked. There's so many.
There you
of
go.
them.
There you
I didn't know that came in a quartz.
Yeah,
That's
I didn't
good.
know
Yeah.
they did a quartz.
It has a small. I don't know if it's a small seconds. I think that's technically what it is, but in the middle. But these, what's funny is I was looking to see what can I get for $200. So this was being advertised. I guess it's on, what is it, Ashford, one of the sites that sells new things really cheap. And this was, I think it retails, and this is something that drives me crazy about glycine. And Hamilton does this some too, but like the RRPs are a little high, and then they discount through various gray market dealers. But this one was for $199, and I think you get a whole lot of watch here for $199. I'm a huge Glycine Airman fan. I have one. And I wouldn't mind. I really love the vintage ones, but the vintage ones have really gone up in price a lot lately. But you get a heck of a heritage here. With, I would argue that Glycine invented the kind of the 24-hour watch in a way. I mean, they were there. Your Traveler's watch. They were there before Rolex was, and I just the fit and finish tends to be good. I have never dealt with one of their quartz pieces before. But they had the patent on that locking dial as an example. That was really what they introduced. Bezel. The bezel. I'm sorry. Yeah, locking dial, locking bezel. That's what they really introduced. And it has a kind of big date on it. I mean, a little bit of, Alonge / my Carl F. Booker type of big date there, and I just think it's just a unique watch for not a lot of money.
Yeah, that locking bezel is weird, isn't it? I know where. Is it Yema that do a similar, not similar, but they have a locking bezel system, doesn't they? That's controlled by the crown. Oh, interesting.
This stream is going to cost me money. I can tell that right now.
If any of you get to Switzerland, their museum in Biel is amazing. Oh. They've got like a store right in the very centre of old part of Biel. They've got a little store with just the modern fare. But if you go in and just say, "Oh, can I see the historic collection?" They take you out the front door of the shop, lock the shop. They then take you into the middle of like a cobbled square, and then they open these big wooden doors that's from an old wine cellar, and they pull this big old padlock off and open these doors up, and you get down this stair, and at the bottom there's a big hermetically sealed double glazed door, and they open it and you walk in, and they've got pretty much one of everything from the very start on display, just in glass cabinets. And you can just wander around at your heart's content and then walk out. It's amazing. Cool. It's really cool.
That is cool. Glad. Thank you, Dave. That's fantastic.
It's really cool. You just need to get into the shop and you just can just say, "Oh, can I go and look at the vintage stuff?" And they're like, yeah, no problem. And they just get and lock the door and wander off with you. It's brilliant.
But then I'd have to buy one in the shop after all that. So,
Yeah.
Not the worst thing in the world.
No, it wouldn't be the worst thing.
In that case, don't go to the Omega Museum, because that's a considerably more expensive buy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well then I'll finish this off with we've got some bonus ones as well if we run out of time. But mine is, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure this is going to be awesome. It's the Sumo GMT, which I think is going to be awesome. It's quartz. I know. I mean. Seiko can't take a decent picture of one of their watches to save their lives, so I imagine that this dial is going to be really good.
Or it could be black. It could be blue. It might. It's 50-50 whether it's actually going to be green. No,
I can tell you because I've physically seen it. It's greener than the picture.
Awesome.
So
are these
proper? The bezel's like a proper deep anodized kind of green, but see that kind of light color on the inside of the rehot ring.
Yeah,
that is a proper light. It's like a very light lime green. It is really good, and the quality on the case is much better than you would expect.
Yeah, I'm really looking
thick, like the Marine Master, or is
it's pretty? It's pretty beefy. There's no two ways about it. It's not svelte and light, but it's kind of, it's like a Marine Master light almost. It's kind of like a slightly slimmed down 300, which is still a big watch. It's more
It's a
the
great
bezel. If
looking
you
watch.
imagine a 300 case without that real chunky bezel that it's got, it's kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm they had them temporarily in stock, but then they went out of stock because this Secura Watches has got them for about 200 cheaper, but they do them in different. They've got different configurations as well. So they've got the Pepsi with its sort of slightly Fotina, I guess, and then they've got a black dial version as well, which might look pretty cool if it's got the grey as the
Hmm.
light hours. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. I've put in a request that when they come back in stock to let me know. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. So we've got a couple coming in from the audience. So Sympathy for the Bezel says the SRP 99 Black Turtle, and then we've got Von Krul is saying I'm wearing my 500 pick today, the Oceanus T2000S green dial, which is a Casio, which is a really cool Casio. And then Bruno says one of the best at 500 price range is the Tissot PRX, which I guess you mean the quartz version.
Yeah, if only it was as well, though. It's just going up in price.
Yeah, I've been looking at
By
the
quite a
green
lot.
dial one after I reviewed the auto. Very well made. The case really was something else. They
Yeah.
did an excellent job of it.
I noticed Jeremy Rice has said he likes the orange one. And he asked about the date, or he's mentioned about the date. They're about to announce the same watches without date as well.
Oh, this is for your
Yeah.
oh, this is for your first pick.
Yeah. So they're doing no date versions in the near future.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
wow. Awesome. Okay, let's get back to it then. So we'll start again. We'll start with you, Dave, and we'll go for your sub $2,000 pick, which is very fitting.
Beautiful.
This is the Namos.
Massively underrated brand in terms of folk who know them understand them, but it gets overlooked by so many people. If you want a brand that actually really genuinely take a great deal of kind of heart in what they do and doing it properly, it's Nomos. You know, like pretty much everything is in-house. And when I mean in-house, actually in-house in terms of they physically manufacture the parts themselves. Been there, I've seen it. I think 97% of everything that they do is now physically made by themselves in Glasuta, in the village itself. I've been in their machine shop, I've been in their workshop, and they are absolutely outstanding value for money. For what you get, it's unbelievable the value for money that you get. You know, this one's, I think, literally just licking over 2,000, which is what we kind of aimed at. But, you know, I dare say if you went into any shop and said, I've only got £2,000, can I have it? They're not going to argue too heavily with you. Just amazing. I nearly picked Todd. I nearly picked the Club Campus, but it's typically, I think, around about 12, 13, 1400, something like that kind of neck of the woods.
Yeah, they're 16 US or something like that, 1650
Are they?
US.
Wee bit more then. I think that's more because of duties and stuff, because this watch that we're looking at here in the UK is about 1600, something like that. And actually most watches in the UK and the US price are pretty harmonious. I think that's probably got a lot to do with duties because it's all made in Germany. And they don't, I think Nomos don't have a US subsidiary, which probably doesn't help them for prices either. But you know, this is an outstanding watch for the money, and there's loads of them. If you don't like that aesthetic, there's loads of sizes, there's loads of models. Look at the Minimatic, look at the Metros, the Tangentes, the Club Campuses. There's so many of them, all under £2,000. Absolutely amazing watches for the money.
The square one is so cool too.
The Tetra.
Yeah.
Tetra is absolutely stunning as well, and it's really quirky as well. It's a proper square.
Yeah. Very cool watch. And the presentation box that they come in is so nice too.
Yeah. Usually it's like either a little wooden box, or if it's a watch on a bracelet, you get it in this little kind of leather travel pouch.
Okay.
Just genuinely fantastic company. And if you ever get the chance to visit them, they're very open to folk going and seeing them and stuff like that as well. But they'll show you around, they'll show you what they do. They're really genuinely proud of it. They're a great company.
Yeah, and I think it's Tonneau, isn't it, that's the stockist in the US, or certainly one of them, because you can go in and see them in a Tonneau store. I think I've certainly seen one.
They've definitely
The-
got
the-
a US base. Yeah.
I was going to say,
Okay,
and
awesome.
when you get a chance to look at the movement, it's just so beautifully done for that price point. It's just a beautiful watch.
And actually, the amazing thing for that price point is the finishing. Whilst for sure some of it's machine done, all of the actual glasuta striping that's done is done by hand. And it's like it's not also we're showing you around the manufacturing. Look, we'll field somebody out to actually just do it to pretend for the day. They're really open about it. They'll just show you the machining and they'll go, this is done by machine, but we can't actually do that by machine. And they take you into a room. There's 5 or 6 of them sitting doing all the striping on the movement plates. So they
Wow.
actually genuinely do it by hand. It's a really cool business.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
that's awesome.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, really cool. Next up, Mark, this is yours. On the Citizen again.
Yeah, and still down the JDM Sakura rabbit hole. The watch I wanted to pick would have been way over, so I I looked around, and for something that could plausibly be a go anywhere, do anything watch, really the Citizen Chronomaster line, you can't beat them. This is the Caliber A010 because it's got the power reserve on the dial, but it's a perpetual calendar. This is one of the larger ones. It's 40 mil. A lot of the watches are 30, 39, 38, 37.2. 5 seconds a year. Eco Drive for a go anywhere accurate watch. I don't think you can do any better than that.
Yeah, I love
The
the
only-
look of this.
The only thing it doesn't have, this particular one, is the paper dial. The paper
Yeah.
dial ones tend to break the bank, but
This one's, I think this one's paper dial, isn't it? Here.
there are
It's
some,
not-
yeah.
Yeah, it's not too much more though. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not in stock.
The washi paper dials are unbelievable. They're so cool.
Yeah, and considering that's a solar cell as well, it's amazing,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Just because the paper's so thin, effectively, they can get away with it.
Wow.
So the indices and the frame for the date are printed on whether it's a sapphire or a perspex disc. Then the paper is underneath, and then the solar cell is underneath all of that.
Wow.
So the construction that goes in these things is incredible. And Citizen Citizen are probably the best people at titanium in the world.
I totally agree.
Yeah. I think
I
their
own-
solar. I was going to say, I think their solar movements are. I think they're doing with EcoDrive. I think that's better than what Seiko is offering in the solar department.
Yeah, I agree. I had a watch very similar to this, but they do a field watch that looks similar to this in titanium, and it's awesome. I don't know whether they've got it on Sakura, but it's it was a JDM only one that it's really cool. Actually, I wonder if they have got it here. I'll find it, but it was really cool watch that I owned. The only thing that kind of ruined it for me was that the minute hand didn't go all the way to the numbers. It was kind of a bit short, and I just couldn't mentally get over it. Next up, we'll go to Todd V. This is a Longines.
Longines, yeah. Well, so this is going to be the dress watch in my collection. I love a tank style watch.
Yep.
And I just think these Dolce Vitas are gorgeous watches. I've never seen one in person. I've only ever just admired them from the web, but I at some point I would like to have one of these in my collection. They're just beautiful watches.
Yep.
Cool piece.
Okay.
What's the movement? Is that a shaped movement in those? Do you know, Todd?
I honestly don't even know. This is a watch. It could come in quartz. I wouldn't even care. I'm all about the window dressing on this one.
Right.
I don't actually know what movements
And
in
for a
it.
dress watch, it almost doesn't matter. It's in a way,
Yeah.
right? It might be easier to like a quartz.
Well, I was looking at the Hamilton Bolton. That was initially going to be my under 500 watch in quartz, but then I flip flopped, and this is if I had the money, this would be the one.
like a quartz Cartier tank. I mean,
Oh yeah,
that works.
yeah. I
Awesome.
believe this is a mechanical movement in here, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, automatic.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
it would be
cool.
interesting
Such
if
a
it is a
good-looking watch.
rectangular movement.
Yeah, because Longines does that. Longines still has this legacy of even under Swatch to have some of the things that are unique to them And I wonder if this is something that's unique to them.
And that's another thing. I just think this brand is like one people don't talk about enough. And I think they had just such a long storied history that it's beautiful watches that their whole line is amazing.
Yeah.
No, it's funny though. Longines is probably one of the biggest cash cows outside of Omega in the Swatch Group. It's the one that actually sells more volume and makes just about more money than any of the other divisions within Swatch Group. It's unbelievable, to the point where they're now opening significant numbers of standalone Longines boutiques in the UK and in Europe. So it shows you what they actually can do.
Yeah. I was reading some research the other day because I know there was a belief, wasn't there, that Longines sold well very much in the Asian markets, and I read some market research to say that was in fact the case, that they do sell very, very well in those markets. But of course, people from all over the world love them as well.
I do.
Yes.
I am 1/8 Chinese though, so I don't know. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe. Yeah.
Mark, Todd, you're up next.
I'm up next.
Solid choice.
Good choice, sir. Good choice.
So all my choices this time are not have nothing to do with Seiko, because I like to be edgy. And you could have picked Seikos, other than you have to go to GS to get under 10 reasonably. But I don't own this. I think it's probably the best buy in a sub $2,000 chronograph. I mean, you can get some Hamiltons close to that. It depends on which one, which I'm a big fan of the Intermatic line, the rebirth of that. Those are fantastic watches too. But this one just, I'm a fan of Heuer and 60s Heuer, and this just screams their yacht timer from that era, which I think is what they were trying to capture with this. The colors, it's got the Sellita 510, which is the 7750 one, which is a terrific movement. So you're getting that really sound movement. The colors are vibrant, so that's something that Hamilton doesn't do. Theirs are really true to form to what they originally offered in the 60s, late 60s. This has the blue. If you get the close-up pictures, because I will say that Christopher Ward does know how to photograph a watch, and I think they do a great job showing. And look at that on wrist. It's great dimensions, 41. 15 millimeters thick, which I like a chunky watch. And because it's a 7750 based clone, you're going to have a chunky watch. That's fine. It's got 47 lug to lug, so it's fairly compact. I think just, really for what you get for a new chrono, to me, this is, and I love the bezel. It's got that thin bezel that's with that almost azure blue. I mean, I think they did a really fantastic job.
Yeah. Chris owns this one as well, and he really likes it. And I know there's a gentleman called William who's been messaging me on Instagram, who's listening to all of the audio podcasts from the start to the up to when we stopped in November. We will try and bring it back, but he's been messaging me stuff that he's like, oh, I like that comment you made, but it was from like three years ago. So I appreciate him listening to all of the. He's a carpenter, so he's listening to it whilst he's doing his work, which is really cool. But yeah, he's actually interested in this watch as well. I think this is
and that's so much nicer than the C60 chronograph, which is a brute. This is the one that has the style. Yeah,
the Bumblebee, right?
Yeah, that's a brute.
That's a big boy.
So we've got a couple more picks from the audience here. We've got Symphony for the bezel says a Marine Master 300 pre-owned. I think that would be a good price to get I suppose that's under the under 10K one, isn't it?
No, you can get some of the. It depends on which ones, but you can get some of the Marine Masters right at 2, maybe a smidge less pre-owned. I think from a pre-owned perspective, for that type of watch, that's probably in my bucket is going to be one of the best ones. It's on my list eventually to get one pre-owned.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, that was a good one.
Sam's also made a very good point. The 556. Yep. Can't knock that. I was because originally this was 500, 1,000, and 10,000, and if it was 1,000, that would have been my choice, as in 556. Because in the UK it's like $970, something like that. don't agree with his indices one. I would definitely go for the Arabic with the big 12,369 on it and the little date down at 4.5 o'clock. But that's an absolutely awesome watch for the money.
Yeah.
Unbelievably well made, amazingly quality bracelet. Everything about that watch for the money is an absolute winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, I've still yet to own a Zin, although I've definitely flirted with it. The only way you can get them new in the US is through this Watch Buyers website, which I know people have bought from there, but anyway. Awesome. Okay, and then next up for me is I picked a Christopher Ward as well. So, and the reason that I did this is I wanted to pick watches that, well, my under 500 one, I've got a good idea of what it'll be like, but my other picks are obviously ones that I've physically held. And I reviewed some really cool watches last year, and I've reviewed multiple Christopher Wards on the channel now. I just actually uploaded one for the June. But this one, when I got it, this C60 Triumph Pro 300, I was really impressed with it. Like, I'm normally impressed with the Christopher Ward ones, but this one because I owned the previous one, the feel of it, the feel of the bezel, the way it looked, I really was taken by it. I think I need to add one to the collection at some point, but I thought they absolutely knocked this out of the park, this one. I think it's absolute great value as well. I think this was on bracelet is 1,050, which I think is an absolute steal. And then you've got the I did somebody at work bought the blue dial one, and they weren't like blown away with the blue color, but I've actually seen the green one and thought the green was awesome. And then obviously the white dial would be an absolutely amazing choice as well on that. And then you've got the 3 different case sizes. But yeah, getting hands on with this watch was one of the best that I reviewed last year, I think, out of all the ones I reviewed.
Yeah, the white dial is really nice. I had one in the white dial. I traded it away. I wish I had it back now.
This 300, this C60 300.
I had the C60 600.
Yeah, I had the C60 600 as well. But this one's a lot thinner. And not a lot thinner, but it's thinner. So it wears really well.
It's a big improvement on the 600, that's for certain.
Yeah, I actually sold my 600 thinking I would get one of these at some point, which I will do. And then, cheers, Todd, you started this one. So this is Von Krul saying the Longines Spirit line doesn't really fit in today, but they are really cool watches, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Jeremy Rice is calling out the Aquis, which is a good call. Yep.
It is.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Okay.
Although it says he's had it twice, so I don't know how much he loves it. He's bought it and sold it.
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I quite like the Aquis that I saw that had the I forget the name of it, but it had recycled plastic. It had a recycled plastic disc on the back of it. And I think
the Save the Ocean one or whatever it is.
Yeah. So they used ocean plastic.
They've done one with they've done a more recent one as well, where the dial's made out of recycled plastic as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it? Wow.
Yeah.
That
the original one was like a medallion on the case back, and then they did a dial one a couple of years later.
The cherry red one is gorgeous.
It's awesome with the relief bezel. That's a great looking watch. That's a great looking watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's we're going back around now, and we're on sub $10,000, and Dave, you're up on this one.
Yep.
Nice.
So a little bit left field, but obviously 10,000's, I mean, the world's your oyster within reason here, So I kind of thought there's arguably watches at 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 that are, you could say, a better choice. But I thought, okay, if we're going to say 10 and you've got to spend as near to 10 as possible, this is the one that I think kind of ticks the boxes. There's a huge amount of bang for buck, as much as you can ever say bang for buck at 10 grand on a watch, which is like a ludicrous statement. But Girard-Perregaux, I think, is one of the proper old school watch brands, newly independent again from out of Kering Group. Always have done amazing things and have a long history behind the scenes as well. Like Dons Cadran, who are well known for making the enamel dials for pretty much everybody, including Patek Philippe, is owned by and wholly owned by and operated by Girard-Perregaux. So they really do know what they're doing. The classic steel Laureato is punchy now. It's up in the kind of 12, 13, 14, 15,000 pound mark. But this one they introduced a couple of years ago. This is their kind of sports take on it. So it's a full titanium case. It uses one of their in-house. It's the GP3300 movement, I think. So it's a proper manufacturer in-house Girard-Perregaux movement. It's a sandwich dial on there. You can get it in the blue or the black. You've got this sandblasted case, but with really nice kind of polished edge finishing on it. 300 meter diver classification on it as well. And this strap is as near as you're going to get to an Oyster Flex without buying an Oyster Flex. It's a titanium infused rubber strap that's got that kind of very thin layer of titanium in it that helps to kind of keep it stiff and shaped and stops it malforming or stretching. It's got an absolutely outstanding micro adjust titanium deployant clasp on there as well, which you can, it's 2 buttons to release it, but if you only press one of them, it allows you to micro adjust the clasp whilst it's on the wrist. Comes in literally just under, I think it's run about, in UK certainly it's like 9,300 I think it is in the UK.
Yeah.
Not sure what it is in US. This is full titanium. They only have made 200 I think it's 230 of them in blue and 230 in black, so
Wow.
it's pretty exclusive as well without spending absolutely lunatic money. I just think it's a really nice left field choice for someone looking for something a bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, a little
Really
Genta inspired design too, I think. You think?
I mean,
Maybe
it's
a little
not
bit.
an actual. It's not an actual Genta design, but this harks back to the original Laureatos, which were again a genesis of the 1970s kind of design. You know, where yes, Genta's the best known for that type of aesthetic, but he was by far not the only one doing stuff like that. You know, so it does have a degree of proper kind of provenance from back in the 70s as well.
Yeah, absolutely
beautiful.
awesome. Okay, Mark, you're up with your $10,000 pick.
Is it a Christopher Ward? Oh no, it's not.
Or one Belcanto on the second-hand market. Yeah.
True that.
I never thought I'd say that about a Christopher Ward. So, having escaped from the JDM rabbit hole and thinking that Seamasters and Speedmasters would be a bit predictable, I went to JLC, and they don't have a lot that's less than 10,000, but this one is it's your expensive Garda. You couldn't dive with it because of the leather strap, but as a watch you could wear every day except perhaps at the beach. It's from one of the finest watchmakers in Switzerland, and it hits the budget. So it's lovely, and I don't know that I'd buy one, but I'm glad that this fits under us, you know, as a second or third step into high-end luxury watches. You know, Christopher Ward, Omega, then JLC. I think that's a great progression to go for. So that's why it was my pick.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
And it's got a date.
Nice watch.
It's got a date, Sam, too.
Yeah, bravo. You're the winner. No, I mean, I love that the Polaris as well, but I think that's probably over 10 grand, is it, or there or thereabouts?
It was a struggle finding something that, for you can't look at Patek, you can't look at Audemars Piguet, you can't look at Vacheron Constantin. So the next step is JLC, and fewer people will know what it is, but the aficionados will just give you a thumbs up, I think, for this one.
Yeah, and I think there must be entire channels dedicated to this, and I certainly don't know enough about it, but I always think that you never hear enough about their clocks, their atmosphere clocks.
Like the Atmos, yeah.
Well, you only really hear negatives about the Atmos clock. That's the trouble.
Yep.
Is that right? Is it not? Because it basically it's to do. Is it to do with barometric pressure or something? As it expands, it winds the clock. It's something to do with the changes in the atmosphere or something.
They're amazing to look at, but they are notoriously, how shall we put it politely, fickle. We'll call them fickle. They look amazing, but they are fickle.
It's almost as if they have to be professionally installed, and then if you move them 1/10 of an inch, they'll break.
Oh, really?
They
Wow.
are-
Okay.
They are pretty delicate. That has to be said. Yeah, they are very cool though.
Yeah, they do. They look the business when they're in the shop. But anyway, or the store, I should say, the boutique. Okay, next up, Todd V with
Okay,
your.
before you show it, look,
Up,
I know I'm going to get flack. It's obvious. It's basic, but I love it. So.
Don't say that before you saw my pick. But anyway, so here we go. This is the Rolex Explorer white dial.
Yep. This is just perfect. I know. What can I tell you? I'm a simple man.
No,
it's a perfect watch. That's your everyday watch. You know, the Seiko is my beater, the Longines is my dress watch, and then this is the everyday watch. And it is. What can you say? It's a perfect watch. It's just under 10 grand.
The only problem, Todd, is it's not really only under 10 grand, because by the time you put your name in the wait list and get it, inflation will have hit about 10 years worth of inflation. At least a 20 grand watch that we're looking at there.
Listen, I'm talking in a perfect world where I am like, Mark Cuban and I can walk in and buy it. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I've just corrected
can't
the dial
knock that.
color there, Todd, for you. So
It is a great watch. You can't knock it, to be fair.
The polar
Yeah,
white is beautiful.
yeah, this will be my next. If this would be next on my list. If I don't, even though I'm not a huge fan of the Mercedes hands, I think the way that they do it on here and the fact that the dial looks condensed, I'm a big fan of this. Big fan of
Just such a good looking watch. Everybody can hate on it. I get it, but like I like what I like.
To be honest, I don't think it's so much hating on the watch. It's hating on the program, innit? It's like it's hating on how to not get one and or the kind of vibe that goes with it and everything. For what it is, it's a cracking watch.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is one of the few Rolex I've actually tried on. Going back 7 years, mind, when you could actually get them. And so I tried on the black, and they said, "Oh, we'll have the white in a couple of weeks if you want to try that on." So I tried on the black and the white, and something just didn't ring true. I just didn't like it on wrist, so then I fell down the Seamaster rabbit hole. But it's exquisitely made. It just doesn't work for me.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's the Cyclops.
We got a super chat. Thank you very much for Burbing Hard. Enjoying the discussion, boys. Great conversation. Thank you very much for the generous super chat there. Much appreciated. Yes. Okay. Next up, then we have. Mark, we did yours. Todd. Next up is yours, and I've not got it prepped up. Yours was.
How about a special citizen? A little big on wrist, but
that was a co-brand with Invicta.
You need to go Beastie Boy style. Just get that around your neck, you'll be good.
Yeah. Flavor Flav.
Nice
Todd,
choice.
this was yours. This was your one. I've got it teed up.
Yeah,
Good choice.
This is one I keep really, really wanting a lot. I've tried it on in the AD. It's just, I just think it's a little big. It's a 43 millimeter case, but it wears big to me. Like you can wear a Seiko Turtle, and that works fine on my wrist, and that's about 44. But this, I don't know. It's just, but the way it's done, it's completely unique. No one, to my knowledge, does a laser ablated dial like this, and the way it's put together and the way the indicators work in terms of the color combination and everything else that Omega's managed to put together here, it's just a phenomenal looking watch. If you have that watch on, you're not being mistaken for wearing anything else, I don't think. And their rubber strap is really pretty cool. But I haven't had a chance to try it with that. I've only had it with, I think that was the bracelet. But yeah, I mean, in terms of something that's around 8,900, 9,000, wherever it sits, this is a truly unique piece right here.
Yeah,
I can agree with you, and I can agree with you because I've got one of them, and I absolutely agree with you. It's too big. It is actually huge.
It does. So you do have one, Dave, and it wears a little big.
And it's big. I love it. Don't get me wrong. There's so many things about it that are really cool. I bought it on the bracelet and just can't wear it. and the rubber strap I tried, but it's got that little metal seg, so it kind of isn't the most compliant strap at the lug. So I ended up putting it onto an Omega leather strap, which is the only way I could get it to wear somewhat sensibly on my wrist. But you're right, it is an amazing watch, and the dial, that laser ablated globe on it, is unbelievably good.
Yeah,
It's only one brand does it better, in my opinion.
No,
Who?
Arnold and Son.
Oh,
They've got their globe one, which is the globe on it is just unbelievable. But to be fair, it's a whole different price point. It's into the kind of
Just a bit.
35,000s. Yeah.
yeah. Dave, on these Aquaterras, if they come on the rubber, is it right that you can't ever take them off the rubber? Like
you can. You can.
You can take them
see-
off. So this metal piece isn't.
See the wee metal piece you see, like it looks like if you put it to the other side,
Mhm.
picture of the front. See the wee square metal bar? That's part of the strap.
Oh, right.
It's actually a separate part, but it goes onto the strap. So it's when you take the spring bar out, the rubber strap and that little square comes off. So yeah, you can absolutely fit those onto it, and you can take that off and put a bracelet or a regular strap onto it, no problem.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's like a
not locked.
reinforcer for the rubber. It's just like a metal, kind of keeps
To
it
be honest, I
stronger.
don't even think it's that. I think it's just a design aesthetic more than anything on them. But the only thing you need to be aware of is if you ever order a new strap, you don't get the metal bits with it, so you have to actually order them separately. So don't ever lose them.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, dear.
Omega do some funny things like that. So if you
Yep.
buy a rubber strap, you won't get the buckle and tang. Those come
Correct.
separate.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, my last one here, and we have got a few bonuses, unless anybody else has got another one in the comments here. But Todd, Todd V, I'm on the bandwagon with you. I had to pick my much loved Rolex. I haven't got it here. I should have bought it here with me, but I just love it. I really, really like it. It's one of those watches where I think after you review a lot of watches, you kind of lose that thrill of trying on a new watch or repeat putting on a watch and having that special feeling. And this Rolex definitely has that. It still has that special feeling. Now I've had it for, I don't know, six months now, and I still love it. I mean, it's really scratched now, but I'm at peace with it. But I love it on the Jubilee. I also had it on that rubber B strap as well. And I'm still a big fan of it. And I love it. So
it's another go anywhere, do anything watch. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
it's you're good with that for a lifetime.
And that
Yeah,
bracelet, you're right, that bracelet is amazing.
It is. There's something that Rolex do with their Jubilee bracelets that I've never seen I've never felt another watch that has a similar Jubilee bracelet. It's super comfortable and very precisely. It's got sharp edges, but they're not sharp. It's weird. And the other thing with it as well is I think that I have a lot of comments on that video about 41 being too big, but I think 41 makes it feel more contemporary, more modern. And the flatness of the back and the way that the case kind of scoops in at the back, the case back wears really well on my wrist. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I had to pick it because I still love it. Well, we've probably got time for a couple of bonuses. Mark, this was you kind of hit us with a couple of bonuses here. So do you want to go with your you had an Omega in your bonus selection?
I did. This is the Globemaster annual calendar. There's 3 or 4 in steel. There's this one, a grey one, and a green one. Amazing movement. They did such a good choice on matching the strap to the dial for each of them. It has a very contemporary feel. The nitride bezel and so on. This is definitely one of my favorite Omega watches. This is particularly. No, this is annual calendar.
Yeah, wow. So it's not a GMT hand. This is actually obviously pointing at the month. Yeah.
So the only time you need to set the date is February 28th or 29th. The rest of the year, it'll change the date and the month on its own. Lovely.
As long as you have a little watch winder.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they did. I don't think I'd paid attention to that watch before, but yeah, it looks really cool.
It's a real shame that they don't make more of the Globemaster range. There should be a GMT. The annual calendar is great, but there should be a GMT.
the reason this watch gets ignored is because the family it sits in,
Yeah.
sits in Constellation.
Mhm.
And pretty much anyone that's into watches broadly goes, oh, Constellation, meh, and looks straight past that whole section as
Yeah,
a
like the
general rule.
Cellini.
Just because people don't. But I agree, this is an absolutely awesome watch. The blue dial with the kind of anthracite writing is the one. It's absolutely amazing, that watch. So with the blue strap, it's just so good.
Let's see. This is it
That
this one,
there,
Dave.
yeah, that's it. That's
That's
so
pretty
good,
too.
that watch.
It's-
That's
it's-
such a good looking watch.
It's a real toss up between the coloured dial or the grey dial. I used to think I liked the green dial, but then Ricky pointed out that the white text is just like the After Eight box, ruined it forever.
I like After Eights.
Well, so do I, but not on a watch.
Which one is that? Is this the one with the green strap? You mean?
There should be a green dial annual.
Oh, there you
calendar.
go.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go. Yeah, I like that one actually.
That's
Yeah.
lovely in real life. I can say that for certain. That is
Awesome.
lovely in real life.
And the ones with the gold, I think it's a set in a gold bezel on it, are absolutely stunning in real life as well.
Okay, I think there was definitely that was on here. Oh yeah, this one here. This with the red.
Yep, that's one. I think there's one as well further along. They are absolutely stunning in real life. It's just a classy looking watch.
So you think, Dave, if this was Seamaster branded, it might get a little bit more love?
I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's where do you place it? Because to me, it's more Aquaterra, but it's not an Aquaterra, and it would need to have the Aquaterra case on it, and the case on this is slightly different. This has definitely got a case that's more aligned with the sportier Constellations. If they want it to work, to be honest, it should be a different category, just a Globemaster category, but they've already got enough categories, so you can't win really, if they didn't.
It would. I think it would help if they positioned Globemaster first and then Constellation hidden underneath it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but it's such a great watch.
Oh yeah. There's some nice Constellations too, but
There's
I
a few
could
nicer
see,
ones, the newer ones.
yeah, I could see myself buying a Globemaster. I just can't get over the Roman numerals on the Constellation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Mark, you had another Omega here as well for your under 10K.
Yep. Seamaster ceramic titanium, not a Bond, not a stealth, but if you want something that's materially different in the Seamaster line, I think this is a stunner. Doesn't it for me? It only works on the black rubber strap. There's no bracelet for it, but it's one of my favorite Seamasters.
So winner as well.
Yeah, I'm initially for years I was not feeling the hands on the Seamaster, but I think I'm over it now. I think I would definitely would like to own one at some point for sure.
And you certainly wouldn't see many of those around.
Yes.
No. Again, Mark, I've got that exact watch as well, and it's a fantastic looking watch. It wears really well. It's just super nice on the wrist.
It's borderline big, but it's very, very nice.
It is. You're right. It is borderline big, but it does just get away with it because of that whole black thing that just pulls it in visually slightly, albeit it is physically quite big. But
because it's
the rubber strap helps that little bit just to bring it down. It's not as chunky as a bracelet.
Because I think it's a 43, not a 42.
It is, yeah. Typically, everything they do in ceramic is usually 1 mil or so up from the steel version. I think it's more just for the durability of the ceramic cases.
Yep.
And then James Duffy's saying the Geo Pano Luna or the Omega. Yeah, the Omega Seamaster 57, Speedmaster 57. I actually love that 57. I love the green dial version. It's stunning. So I wonder whether it would be. I wonder if it's under Heritage. Well, we'll check. We'll check which one it's under.
I think it's under Heritage as part of Speedmaster.
Okay. So
was at the
Last
bottom,
year
I
I saw the whole color
did I go?
range in Vegas, and they were just beautiful.
Oh, no, I've gone too far.
You've gone too far.
I agree with you, Todd. I think I really like the colours on them. I'm not a fan of the bicompact speedies. They just don't do anything for me.
Yeah, I actually really like this one. I think this one, this green dial.
I like
Would be
the
the-
red version too.
As I recall, there's a heck of a taper on that bracelet. If you've ever
There is.
worn a Seamaster bracelet where there's no taper, that bracelet feels really, really weird.
Yeah, I mean, I owned a Speedmaster for years. I owned a Speedmaster Professional, but yeah, it definitely. I think these green definitely appeal to me because I think I've definitely played with this 57, but I didn't like the Fotina on it. But Todd, you're saying this one you like with the
Oh,
red.
it's beautiful in person.
It's cracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Color
wish
is
that we would
amazing.
have more red dials out there. That's something I need to add to my collection as a red.
Yeah, I think Dave, you mentioned this on Scottish Watches, didn't you, about purple dials? Because we did see a flurry of purple dials last year, didn't we? But I don't think any new ones are coming out, are they, with purple dials? I haven't seen any anyway.
I think purple is very much a kind of flash in the pan color wise. It's always going to be a little bit divisive. It's not a mainstream
know-
color, but red
you
could
know-
be.
You know, purple's gone out of fashion when Christopher Ward do it.
Fair.
Oh, come on now.
James is right as well. Glasuta Original are another amazing brand. A
Yeah,
bit like
let's-
Yeah.
bit like,
Underappreciated for sure.
yeah, a bit. In fact, right across the road from Nomos and Glasuta, another brand that just part of the Swatch group, but kind of get left on their own to do their own thing. They do some amazing watches at quite a few price points as well. The
Yeah, my boss just swapped.
360s.
One of the bosses at my work just swapped his Milgauss for the Glashut Originals, the CQ. Is it CQ?
Yeah, it's CQ. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see it in person, and it's really cool. Yeah, it's got the split day. You're right. This one actually looks like a Langenson.
Along
Well,
it,
I mean, they are and genuinely
probably next
they
door
are
to each other.
literally they are. You walk out one, you walk across a little road, and you're in the next building. That's where you're at when it comes to them. But the
Wow, and this
Panomatics, the Panel Lunars are amazing. The 70s, which is that kind of TV shaped case, the 70s I think are just unbelievably cool.
Yeah, and that one's under 10 grand, is it?
Yep.
Because I think.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. No, it's not. It's not loading.
They're in a kind of strange area. A lot of folk with GO tend to say, "Oh, they're too expensive," but actually,
But they're
bang
not.
for buck for what you get compared to what the contemporaries are, is unbelievable value for money as a general rule. But they're such a small brand relative to being known to others that people just expect them to be inexpensive.
Yeah,
the
this one.
only time I've ever seen them is at Watch Time in New York, the Watch Time show. They're kind of hard to find to look at.
They are. There's not many about. They're a bit more common in Europe for sure than maybe the States, but they're so good. They're so good.
Yeah. Wow,
a crazy
that looks
looking
like the
complication.
Nightworks, doesn't it? That one?
Yeah, what's that one?
Is it a jump power?
That's cool.
Oh, yeah, really cool. Awesome. Well, that was fantastic. We had some great picks there. And thanks everyone in the audience for picking those out. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Very much appreciated. Thanks everyone for being so active in the comments. And we'll see you next time on Casual Watch Talk. There won't be a Tuesday show because I'm traveling again for work, but we'll see you next Sunday. All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you
everyone.
all. Have
Take
a
care.
good weekend.
Thank you.
Cheers.